The left-wing media focusing on the suffering of former Obama staffers suffering under President Trump. The Washington Post with this headline, "A dagger in my heart. Obama alums struggle to adjust to a Trumpian world." But with everything else going on in the news, is this really worth reporting? Here to react on this is contributor for The Hill and author of Government Gone Wild, Kristin Tate. Kristin, great to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. What was your reaction to this article that the Washington Post published?
I mean, it's pathetic that the Washington Post would spend time and resources on a story about melting snowflakes while there are so many critical issues that are worthy of coverage. I mean, healthcare reform, tax reform. But you know what, Ainsley, it's really not all that surprising. The Washington Post has been flagrant in its bias, and it doesn't even try to hide its anti-Trump narrative anymore. But I think what this recent story really shows is how out of touch the Washington Post is with ordinary Americans. I mean, the vast majority of working people in this country, especially in middle America, couldn't care less about how former Obama staffers are feeling. I mean, we don't care if they're upset or sad. We're busy working for our paychecks, and we want to get real news. But unfortunately, the journalists at the Washington Post are so entrenched in their little absurd D.C. bubble that they don't understand that, and all they really know is Washington elite.
Is it time for the folks who didn't vote for President Trump to get on board and just give him a chance?
Yeah, I mean, at least try to understand his supporters. I mean, his supporters make up half of the country, and there's a reason why only 32% of Americans trust the media. I think that number is so low because middle Americans don't see their values reflected in the media.
You know, it's interesting. If you read the article, there's a few examples of people that used to work for President or work in his administration, President Obama. You have Wendy Cutler saying that it's a dagger in her heart, Trump pulling out of the TPP. You have Ben Rhodes, who was a speechwriter for him, saying that Trump's Cuba policy, it should be that his supporters should be embarrassed and should be held accountable. But, you know, there were many people who felt like they suffered during those 8 years when President Obama was in office, but you didn't see them running to get coloring books and bubbles and therapy dogs. You didn't see them complaining, or Washington Post wasn't reporting
because
that.
They were busy working. And I've seen no serious effort from the journalists at the Washington Post or other outlets like the New York Times to try to understand or get to know middle America. There seems to be this elitist attitude that the only places in the country that matter are the coast. And I think it's that exact smug attitude that caused them to lose readership and ultimately caused Trump to win the election in some way.
All right, Kristin Tate, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Ainsley.
You're welcome.